A 60-day ceasefire has been agreed, bringing an end to more than a year of fighting between Hezbollah and Israel. We're going to look at what exactly both sides have agreed to in the deal, why a ceasefire is happening now, and what impact this deal has on the war in Gaza. This is the Hezbollah-Israel ceasefire explained. First of all, let's remind ourselves why a ceasefire is even needed. After the Hamas attack of October the 7th, Israel launched a full-scale military response. At the same time, Hezbollah launched rocket attacks from southern Lebanon into northern Israel in solidarity with Hamas. And in turn, Israel fired back into Lebanon. By September 2024, more than 60,000 Israelis had been forced to leave their homes along the border, a fact used by Benjamin Netanyahu's government to then escalate the conflict. Israel detonated explosives hidden in thousands of pagers and walkie-talkies belonging to Hezbollah members, killing 39 and injuring more than 3,400 others, many of them civilians. They followed up with massive airstrikes against Hezbollah command centres, killing key generals, as well as their leader for the past 3 decades, Hassan Nasrallah. Then on October the 1st, Israel sent ground forces across the border into Lebanon for the first time since the 2006 war. On the same day, Hezbollah's most important ally, Iran, fired a barrage of hundreds of missiles at Israel. And since then, the Israeli airstrikes and Hezbollah rockets have been unrelenting. Now, after 13 months of fighting,
effective at 4 a.m. tomorrow local time, the fighting across the Lebanese-Israeli border will end.
So what's in the deal? The first stage will see the withdrawal of all Israeli forces from southern Lebanon within 60 days. At the same time, Hezbollah will pull back weapons and fighters north of the Litani River, around 20 miles north of the Israel-Lebanon border. The Lebanese army, along with the United Nations peacekeepers, will monitor the buffer zone, with the US leading a 5-country committee to make sure both sides stick to the deal. But the fighting's been going on for more than a year, so why has a ceasefire been agreed to now? First of all, it's important to note here that Israel was fighting Hezbollah, not Lebanon. The militia group has tens of thousands of members and many seats in Lebanon's parliament, but they aren't the ruling faction. And Israel has decimated Hezbollah's leadership and severely weakened its military strength. Basically, Hezbollah can't sustain the fight with Israel, and the ceasefire is the group's way out. Lebanon's government has been calling on both sides to stop the fighting from the start. The cost to the country has been immense. More than 3,000 have been killed according to the country's health ministry. A staggering 1.2 million people have been displaced, and swathes of the country now lies in ruins.
This is basically a ceasefire under fire with such huge losses to the Lebanese people, the Lebanese economy.
That huge civilian toll has led to pressure on Israel too, with the United Nations, the European Union, and most significantly the United States, demanding an end to the violence and humanitarian crisis. But there are other reasons too. When he announced the ceasefire, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu gave 3 reasons for peace.
סיבה ראשונה, התמקדות באיום האיראני. סיבה שנייה, רענון כוחות וחידוש מלאים. ניתוק הזירה ובידוד החמאס.
The deal also allows Israel to claim some victory. Netanyahu says they've set Hezbollah back for decades, and that the 60,000 Israelis displaced by their rocket attacks can now go back to their homes in northern Israel. But some of them don't want to go back because they think the threat is still there and that Hezbollah will target them again.
אבל אני חושב שזה יחזור על עצמו עוד פעם. היינו צריכים לגמור פעם אחת לתמיד, ללמד אותם לקח שלא יחזרו על 9 באוקטובר.
And even some in Israel's own government are unhappy. Take Itamar Ben-Gvir, an ultra-nationalist cabinet minister. He believes the deal is an historic mistake and that they should keep fighting until Israel has total victory. To keep the critics happy and get the deal done, the United States has given Netanyahu the right to strike Lebanon again in the future if Hezbollah poses a threat. And just 2 days into the deal, Israel used a drone to fire a warning shot at vehicles entering a restricted zone in southern Lebanon, saying it's committed to, quote, enforcing the ceasefire. For now, the conflict has stopped, in Lebanon at least. But Israel is still fighting on another front, where the level of suffering is even greater. So what does this deal mean for Gaza? To reach.